If you're born poor, it's not your mistake, but if you die poor, it's all your mistake.
먼저 표준 예문입니다.
If you want peace, prepare for war. You can room here until you find a proper hotel. I can remember that spring day as if it were yesterday. If you drive in the nail here, you can hang a picture on it. Don't just immediately give up, rather think deep about ways round a problem.
접속사 통합 예문입니다.
I will go home after I finish this. After he glanced at the headlines, he went to work. Some doctored the report after it was sent in. The repairman doctored a leak in the roof. What are you going to do after tutoring session ends? The decision has taken about 10 seconds after he'd read a market research report. Even after all the fees and commissions deducted, we still made a tidy profit when we sold the house. He could not reach her though he attempted to. Even though you do not like it, you have to do it. Although she had many lovers, she never married. You might clean up the mess after you'd finished a job. No matter what the problem is, we will be able to handle it. Millionaire though he was, he never let an opportunity for money slip by. Although he's sentenced to death to life, he will become eligible for parole after serving 10 years. Be an angel and hand me the book. Scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours. It was so touching, and I almost cried. You didn't listen to me, and so now look at you. Talks of angels, and you'll hear the flutter of their wings. Take care of the pence, and the pounds will take of themselves. Shake the rug well, and hang it for a few hours under the sun, before replacing on the floor.
접속사 as의 기본 예문입니다.
Do as you like. Do in Rome as the Roman do. He is as tall as I am. She was as pale as could be. As you sow, so shall you reap. It's not as good as I expected. Her skirts swished as she walked. She is not as much mad as I am. It's not as easy as it seems. It seems not as good as it used to be. He is not as mad about soccer as I am. I'll never forget this day as long as I live. A baby deer can stand as soon as it's born. As soon as I'd finished the tests, I was assailed by doubts. As mentioned in my email, I plan to arrive on the 20th. Just as Americans love their cars, so does the French love their dogs.
접속사 as의 발전 및 심화 예문입니다.
As many people as come will be welcomed. Leave things as they are until the police come. Daniel earns 2 times as much money as I do. Love lasts only as long as the money holds out. She asked you to call her as soon as you got in. He pictured the world as he would like to be instead of how it is. My heart is torn as I must deliver bad news to those whom I love. The soldiers parted into 3 columns as they approached the town. It seems as if it's going to rain. He talks as if he were an artist. She felt as if she were coming down with a cold. How did you come up with such a brilliant idea? Actually, I read it in a newspaper. He stayed home because he had runs. I was late because my car broke down. Don't lose the key because I don't have another. Don't scold them because they don't know any better. We can't use the pool today because it's being cleaned. Do not look down upon them just because they are poor. I wish you would have called me because I've been really worried. You are pissed off because you know that everything I say is true. Never underestimate the power of an extremely pissed off woman. Many people fear change because they do not like the old ways to be disrupted. The trial has been delayed until this May because the defense is not ready to proceed. I had based myself before the principal because I figured I had to behave like that in order to keep me from being expelled. We couldn't travel any distance before night fell. Don't count your chicken before they are hatched. I want to take a trip around the world before I die. He had been studying French for 2 years before he went to Paris. We used to play pool together before we moved out of the house. Cyril Bottom, it's so nice. He waited for them, but none came. I wasn't actually sick, but I felt lousy. I thought he was gentle, but he wasn't. I really would help you, but my hands are tied. Not a day goes by but she thinks of her mother. Money is not everything, but still, it's something. They have some food, but we don't have any left. That's flattering, but I don't think it's really necessary. The opera has already started, but I haven't arrived yet. Jimmy will be upset for just a, but it too will pass. She tried to apologize, but that only made the matters worse. We used to play tennis every day, but now we prefer swimming. We have very few material possessions, but we have each other. I'm sorry to barge in like this, but I don't know who to turn to. Commoner used to be commoner, but more common is more common. I'm not going except you go with me. I know nothing about him except that he lives next door. Paul told me nothing about what he was writing except that it was to be a Christmas play.
가정법 시제별 예문입니다.
If I were a millionaire, I would travel all around the world. If I had studied English harder, I would have read more books in English. If the weather's fine, I will go surfing tomorrow. If I had studied harder, I could pass the bar examination this time. If I knew better about him, I would have helped him.
이번에는 조건문 기본 예문입니다.
If it's nice, it's nice. If you add 7 to 5, you get 12. If the traffic is bad, cycle to work. If anybody calls, tell him I've gone. This cloth will shrink if washed. Ask him if she knows what time it is. If you're all that, how big could you be? If you're special, how special could you be? He can recover from illness if he wills it. If you know someone good, hook me up. You can't be a breadwinner if you act like that. If I've told you once, I've told you 100 times. The concession stand is over there, if you care for something. You're off base if you think I'm going to do that much overtime. You should take an umbrella with you in case it rains unexpectedly.
모듈 32 접속사 전반부를 여기서 마치고 파트 2에서 다시 이어가겠습니다. 수고 많이 하셨습니다.